than he was to mine. "Do you have any siblings?" Mom wanted to know. "I have an older brother, Daniel, and some cousins that come to stay with us from time to time," he told her. "But usually, it's just Daniel, my mom, and me." "But you don't go to Tiburon High?" Mom asked, piling more meat on Jessie's plate, under the assumption he was a growing boy. "No, I'm homeschooled." That was the reply that Jessie and I had worked out. It would save a lot of questions about sports and after-school activities. I'd been watching Jessie carefully. To all appearances, he was enjoying his meal, happily chewing away. But closer observation proved that he was just using his vampire speed to quickly remove the food from his mouth and conceal it in his napkin every time my mother glanced away. It was a pretty easy maneuver when he was eating the meat, but a little less graceful when it came to things like mashed potatoes. There were a few times when I had to stifle a giggle. After we were done eating, Jessie insisted upon carrying his plate to the kitchen and even made his best offer to do the dishes. "You made this wonderful meal. The least I can do is wash up," he told my mom, winning her over completely. "No, you two go on and study. I'll get the dishes," she told him. When he tried to protest, she added, "I promise I'll let you scrub a bunch of pans next time," which made them both chuckle a little. "Okay, great. Thanks, Mom," I said, grabbing Jessie by the hand and heading for the stairs. Mom said, stopping me in my tracks. "There's no studying in your bedroom with a boy," she reminded me. "You know that." It had always been a rule, just not a rule I'd had any previous reason to try to cross. I'd only had one boyfriend briefly before Jessie, and he'd only been over to our house once or twice. "You two can use the living room," she informed us. It was literally impossible for me to concentrate on anything but Jessie when the two of us were in the same room. It was even challenging for me to think about anything but Jessie when he was not in the room with me. Fortunately, I had all my assigned schoolwork done already. Homework was just an excuse I told my mom because it sounded like what normal teenage couples do. I took a seat on the couch, and Jessie took his seat, chastely a full cushion length away from me. I frowned, looked down at the cushion, looked up at my boyfriend, and blinked at him slowly. A smirk spread across Jessie's full lips as he reached over and slid me across the couch, so I was sitting snugly next to him. Vampires are surprisingly strong. I pressed against his muscular, lean chest and sighed. Being with him was intoxicating. When my mom turned on the sink and we could hear her clinking the dishes together, Jessie bent down a little and kissed me on the lips. It was a soft, tender kiss, but I could feel the hunger underneath. It sent little sparks of pleasure shooting all over my body. "I know we should be studying, but I wanted to give you a proper hello," he whispered, his breath tickling my neck and sending my libido through the roof. The next thing I knew, I was on top of him, straddling him on the couch, kissing him madly and burying my fingers in his thick, dark hair. It wasn't anything I'd planned or even thought through. I was just consumed with desire for him and never wanted him to stop touching me. "Aurora," he whispered, a bit hoarsely, and it was ecstasy to hear him say my name. "Oh, Jessie," I murmured back, lost in the touch, the taste, the smell of him. Suddenly, I found myself at the other end of the couch with an open book in my lap. It happened so quickly that it made my head spin. "Would either of you like some dessert?" Mom asked, poking her head in the living room. "We have ice cream." "No, thank you, Miss Keyes," Jessie said, looking up from a book of his own. "I'm stuffed from dinner." He patted his flat stomach to show how full it was. "I'm good, Mom," I added, "but thanks for asking." As soon as she disappeared, Jessie closed his book and set it on the coffee table. "I should go," he said, starting to get to his feet. "Why?" I practically whined, springing across the couch and grabbing his arm. It's still